something new. Thinking we'll start rotating again, won't we? Brand new subject. Denver. Okay, thank you. You are getting there, right, Denver? Hubba, 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 hubba. Denver's going to be one of our rotators next year. So we'll have some fine lessons from God's Word brought to us by Him. And I'm sure he's just like me. He prays that the Lord, that God will put words in our mouths that will be understood. Because sometimes when we teach, sometimes we go home and it just didn't sound right that day, and you just pray the Lord turn my words around to where it was a blessing to the class. So I'm sure Denver's like that. So we continue with our Proverbs, of course, understanding that the basis of Proverbs is being wise versus being foolish. Godly wisdom versus the ways of the devil, which are foolish or foolishness or folly. And of course, I keep this definition on the board for us to read through every week to really get in our mind what godly wisdom is and what defines what folly or foolishness is, or the way of the fool. So read that every week for the next 3 weeks, and maybe it'll be ingrained in your mind and in your heart so we can teach others. What did we talk about last week? Oh, it's always a test. Yeah, you were. Hey, and I didn't call you either. Did you notice that? I usually call you. We're all up here waiting on you, John. You might remember what last week was. Humbler, humbler, humbler. Something about our heart, right? What about our heart? Huh? Whose heart is it? Whose heart is it anyway? And so we talked about, you either have a heart of God, or trying to have a heart of God, or you have a heart of the tempter, Satan. This week, in dealing in our lives, living in this world, on this earth, we're given help by the Holy Spirit. We're given help by Jesus. We're given help by God. But what is part of the help that God gives us? The Holy Spirit, but what else? What are we going to talk about today? Friends. Friends. Is that part of the army that God has provided us to survive this world, to survive what Satan throws at us daily? We can't do it without the Holy Spirit. We can't do it without Jesus, because, Jesus is the salvation. We all understand that. But how many times in the New Testament are we taught that we're not alone? We're not alone.
When you depend on your friends and neighbors, you've got to have people around you like you are.
You've got to have people around you. And John put on there, like you are. What does John mean when he says, like you are? Fellow Christians. Now, is it those like you are the same people that go to the same church building? Is that what we're talking about? Are there some cases where even though a person walks in the church building, he may not be someone I need to be associated with? Right? The family of God, the family of Jesus, Christians, those who follow Christ, those who follow His teachings, that's who our acquaintances should be. And then, we're going to talk more. It should be more than just acquaintances. We cannot do this together. I've heard some people say, well, I really don't need church. I don't need to be a part of a congregation. I get my God, I get my Jesus out in nature. I don't need anybody else. And I think, how sad that person's life must be when they think they don't need anybody else. Friendships. Friends are valuable and precious, one of the greatest blessings God has given man. Do you agree with that statement? Do you agree with that statement? Friendships. One of the greatest blessings God has given man. Having a friend. Having a friend. Well, let's dive off into this. Real friendships. Let's turn to Proverbs. Here we go. Chapter 14. Verse 20. True friendships. The poor are shunned even by their neighbors, but the rich have many friends. Go to chapter 19. Verse 4. Wealth brings many friends, but a poor man's friend deserts him. Jump down to verse 6. Many curry favor with a ruler, and everyone is the friend of a man who gives gifts. A poor man is shunned by all his relatives. How much more do his friends avoid him? Now, is that the definition of friendship? What I just read right there. True friendship. Chapter 14, 20, chapter 19, 4, 6, and 7. Is that true friendship? Do you know people who you see have lots and lots of friends because of their wealth, because of their position, because of what they can get out of that person? Fair weather friends. Fair weather friends. We're looking at real friendships, and we've just looked at the, as we call it, the counter positive, the other side of the thing, the fair weather friends. Is there a story in the New Testament that was told that really exemplifies that? The Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan. That's a great story. The guy falls among thieves. Bam. And the powerful came by, the Levi and the priest. I have no time for this guy. I've got to go. Who took care of him? A Samaritan. And a Samaritan is a person who is a half-breed. A half-breed, lowly half-breed from the north. We shouldn't associate with them because of what they are. But he took care of him. He was a true friend, even though he didn't know the person. Is there another story that was told in the New Testament that exemplifies what happens in false friendships? Right? Guy who had a party, invited his so-called friends, well, I got something else to do. I guess, okay, I'll find me some people that want to come to my party. Is there another story? The prodigal son. He took his inheritance. He asked his dad, give me my inheritance. So all of a sudden he became a rich young man, didn't he? He got his inheritance and he took it, and he had a lot of friends, didn't he? A lot of friends. He had a great time with his inheritance money. But what happened when the inheritance money ran out? They dropped him like a lead balloon, didn't they? Or a hot rock. They dropped him quick. And he was stuck feeding hogs, and he wished he could eat what the hogs had. He was that hungry. But his friends left him. True friendship. What is true friendship? Let's go to chapter 18. 18:24. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks, what? Closer than a brother. Do you have true friendship in your life that you can say, this person is closer to me than my brother or my sister, my blood family? Can you say that in your life? I can raise my hand. And it's a blessing. It is a true blessing if your blood kin and you are very, very close, where your brother or your sister is also your friend, true friend. But in a lot of cases, due to distance between you, just different lifestyles, different whatever, your blood relative is just blood relative. They're really, truly not a friend to you. You still love them and they still love you, but they're not that true friend. You may have a person in your life who will stick with you through thick and thin. And it's not your blood brother or your blood sister, but they're there for you. First Samuel. Y'all know where we're going on this one? Anybody want to guess before we get to 1 Samuel? Chapter 18. What friendship we're about to look at real quick. I know it's not in Proverbs, but it's so beautiful. Who? David and Jonathan. Man, I could not go through this lesson here about friendship without looking at David and Jonathan, because it truly speaks about friendship. Truly speaks about friendship. 1 Samuel 18. After David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan became one in spirit with David. I'm pausing right there. One in spirit with David. What does that imply? One in spirit. They thought alike. They are headed their same direction. Everything in both their lives really mirror each other, don't they? Boom, they're right there. What did you want to say? Oh, man, close. And he loved him as himself. Jonathan became one in spirit with David, and he loved him as himself. Now, a lot of people want to misinterpret this and say that they had a homosexual relationship. Is that what that says? In the New Testament, what are we supposed to do? Love our neighbor as ourselves. So is that implying that you're becoming a homosexual? No. No. Jonathan and David would do anything for each other because they felt like if they were doing it for each other, they were doing it for themselves, right? From that day, Saul kept David with him and did not let him return to his father's house. And Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. That's twice they've said that now. Jonathan took off his robe he was wearing and gave it to David, along with his tunic and even his sword, his bow, and his belt. Now, wait a minute. Some people might want to say, well, wait a minute. You're talking about David, and what was David? A shepherd boy, right? And now he's become friends with the prince of the Israelites. Prince of the Israelites. The successor to the throne that God had given Saul. So David's a gold digger. Would you say that about David, that he's a gold digger? Now, I'm implying you know all the story about David and Jonathan, and I'm hoping you do. If you don't, you need to go read it. It is a beautiful story about friendship. Beautiful story about friendship. If we go on and go to chapter 20, when we jump through up to chapter 20 about David and Jonathan, what are we missing? Saul's trying to do what to David? He's trying to kill David. So, if I was a gold digger, I'd be running away because every time I go into Saul's presence, he's throwing spears at me. He's trying to kill me. He's sending people after me. In chapter 20, verse 41, this has something to do with an arrow. Someone want to paraphrase this story before we get and read 41, verse 41 and 42? What's the story about the arrow being shot out the window? That was a message. The arrow was a message. If that arrow is shot out there, my dad's trying to kill you, you need to get away. You need to get away. Verse 41. After the boy had gone, David got up from the south side of the stone and bowed down before Jonathan 3 times with his face to the ground. Then they kissed each other and wept together, but David wept the most. Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, for we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord, saying, 'The Lord is witness between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever.' Then David left, and Jonathan went back to the town." Wow. Has your friend ever moved away from you? Your close, confidant, friend, and y'all had to move away from each other? Is that an easy thing to do? Is it easy? Were there tears? Nobody's moved away from their friends before? Their deep, close friends before? Were there tears shed? Does that friendship end because there's miles between you? Now, Jonathan didn't have the luxury of this, did he? You know, and in your lifetime, you have snail mail. You've had snail mail for a long time, right? I mean, Pony Express was taking mail around. Friends could still get letters to each other. The friendship probably, if you had a true friendship with someone that was in spirit with you. Just because there was miles between you, that friendship didn't die, did it? You kept letters going to each other, right? Then came the age of the telephone. Did you not call each other also? And now you can call on these things wherever you are. You don't have to be hooked up with a wire to the wall. And one of those 15-foot ones that would go all the way into the kitchen. I remember that one. Oh, that was cool. I could try to hide from my mom. Between the doors. She always traced me to that hiding place too, because that wire was connected. Hey, you can FaceTime people now or something, Skype them or something where you can actually look at them on the computer. You can Snapchat, chit-chat, whatever it's called now. FaceTime? I don't know all the words for it. I can't do it, but my daughters know how to do it. Staying in touch with that friend. Jonathan and David, man, the things they could have done if they had had the technology, staying in touch. But there was tears shed. There was tears shed because that friendship wasn't being split up, but it was being separated. It was being separated. All right, 17. Let's go back to Proverbs. Let's go to 17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A friend loves at all times. Doesn't say some of the time. Think in your mind, maybe there was a situation in your life where things just did not go your way. You may have made mistakes in your life, or your friend made mistakes in their life. Did you find out who your true friends were, or did that person find out who their true friends were? It's amazing. It's truly amazing how adversity separates the cream from the whatever's left over after you churn the milk. Right? The adversity will clean it all up, won't it? You'll find out who's truly your friend. The prodigal son. Did he find out who his true friends were? The adversity of not having any money anymore, they couldn't mooch off of him anymore. According to the story, nobody stuck with him. He had no true friends. But have you ever experienced a time in your life when the stress and the hurt were just so great that some stuck by you and some didn't? You find out real quick who truly loves you. Who truly loves you. You find out real quick who is with you in spirit. Sometimes it's out of sight and out of mind. You're right, Lou. What is your friendship like now with that person who stuck with you through that adversity? What is your friendship like with that person now? Is it stronger? Wanda said, even though you may not have seen them in a while, but after going through that adversity and stuff, you become so close that when you do get back together, it's like it hadn't even been any time gone by. Do you know that person truly loves you because they stuck with you and they helped you through that bad time? And I don't want to say I pity people, but I am so sorry for people who don't have a true friend. Man, how lonely life must be. Oh, you've got acquaintances that'll be with you as long as you're paying the bill. You take them out to eat every once in a while. Yeah, but when that call comes, and you've heard through the grapevine they've done something, I don't know, and then they try to call, they need help, and you go, I'm not answering that call. I'm not getting in the middle of that stink. Have you known situations like that? Are you the one who will take the call? And that's where I'm trying to look myself in the mirror, straight in the face. Craig, will you take the call? Even though you know it's nothing but bad news, and if you answer that call and you let them get in there, you're never going to get rid of it. And it's going to be a long time until it's fixed. Can you answer the call? What kind of friend am I? Am I a friend because they take me fishing? Am I a friend because they ask me over to their house for supper? Am I a friend because they let me borrow their tractor even though I'd let it drive off into a tank? Am I a friend because of what I can get out of the friendship? Solomon and the wise men, man, and we talk about wisdom, man, did they not cover everything? Did Solomon not cover everything? Wow. I guess we better keep going. I could talk forever on this part of it because I've seen people scatter like roaches when the light comes on when adversity comes to somebody. I've seen them scatter, I've seen them disappear, and yet I've seen that one person who will stay out there and say, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you, and I'll stick with you until this is over. I'll stick with you till this is over. That is somebody that you can cry with, y'all. That is somebody you can hug on and you can cry with because it don't matter because they're with you. Chapter 25. Once you've been through the fire with someone and your friendship has been fire tested, this next topic, this next concept in this friendship thing becomes a lot easier. If you have not been through the fire with somebody, this one's not very easy because of human nature. 25 verse 11. I hope I got it right. Let's see here. 11. Yes. A word aptly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. Like an earring of gold or an ornament of fine gold is a wise man's rebuke to a listening ear. Go to chapter 27 in verse 5. Better is open rebuke than hidden love. The kisses of an enemy may be profuse, but faithful are the wounds of a friend. Jump to verse 17. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Once your friendship has been fire tested, you know that person has stuck with you through thick and thin. They have helped you through the fires of hell with you. They have gone through it with you. They have suffered with you. They have cried with you. It then becomes easier to correct each other, isn't it? A true friend knows when to say, "You're being stupid. How dumb can you be? Why are you going back to waller in the mud again?" A true friend can say that to you, and you probably will take it if they've been through the fire with you, right? Have you ever been given advice from an acquaintance who really hasn't been through the fire with you? They're just a casual friend. "Well, you really shouldn't be doing it." Who are you to tell me? But that person who has cried with you, has stayed up long hours with you, helping you through trouble, and they come to you and they say, "Man, Craig, man, you're heading down the wrong road again. You're heading down the wrong road." Going through that adversity with each other, going through that fire with each other, sharpens us, but doesn't it also soften us too? Doesn't it also soften us? Do we not realize, doesn't it help us realize how frail we are in this earth with Satan working against us? Isn't it a lot easier to take correction from a true friend than just an acquaintance? Have you ever been strong enough to tell your friend, "I just don't know. We need to talk. You're really not headed down the right road here. I'm trying to help you." Have you ever had to do that? Is it easy? Is it easy even with that guy you've been through the fire with? It's not easy to correct each other, is it? But if you truly love someone, like true friendship is a love story, you will care enough to tell them they're messing up. Right? Oh, chapter 17, verse 9. He who covers over an offense promotes love, but whoever repeats the matter separates close friends. Has your close friend ever hurt you? Has your close friends ever hurt your feelings? Done something that, I can't believe he did that. I thought we were friends. Why do you think there's forgiveness in the teachings of Jesus? Are you going to have the perfect friendship with someone? Are you going to have that perfect friendship where nothing goes wrong? Is there such a thing as a perfect friendship? Because we live in a what? Imperfect world, right? We live in an imperfect world. So I can't expect my friendship, even though it's with someone has been through the fire with me, it's still not going to be a perfect friendship. There's still going to be times where I hurt their feelings and they hurt my feelings. Solomon says, bury it, right? Bury it. It's a thing called forgiveness. Bury it. We got enough problems with Satan trying to get us than to hang on to something that someone who I know is my true friend. Tried and tested, true friend. I know they are. They just messed up and hurt my feelings once. Bury it. Bury it. And I'm looking in the mirror too, y'all. I've got to bury it also. And it's hard to do. It's hard to do. Solomon and the wise men also teach us on the lines of friendship, be careful who we choose. Be careful who we choose. Solomon says, look for friends in the right ponds. In going fishing, you know which ponds have fish in them and which of them have nothing but mudcat. Solomon says, go to the pond that has the nice crappie in it. That tastes so good when it's fried up. Ooh-wee. Don't go to the pond that has nothing but mudcat, little short, stumpy-looking catfish that if you fried it up, it's like eating fried mud. The pool you try to get your friends out of matters. 13:20. 13:20. He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. Now, I'm going to sit here and say, you need to be friends with me because I'm wise. No. Y'all know I'm not wise. I'm dumber than a box of bricks. Remember our definition of wisdom. Remember our definition of fools. What does Solomon say? He who walks with the wise grows wise. Someone that uses their knowledge and insight and skill to God's glory. A person who has a relationship with God, even though they may not be educationally smart. A person that is moral, has a moral and spiritual quality of heart, will, and life. Are your friends those kind of friends? Are they those kind of friends? Or are they fools? It's a check. You need to check your list. Check your phone list. The list of your friends. Are they walking with the wise? Solomon's definition of wise, God's definition of wise. Are they people whose every bit of life, they intend to glorify God. Is that who your close friends are? Now, we have acquaintances, I understand that, but I'm talking about those confidants, those who are going to help me through the fire. 22, chapter 22. He's going to ring that second bell, and people will start coming in and think I'm long-winded. 22, 24. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered man. Do not associate with one easily angered, or you may learn his ways and get yourself ensnared. Go to chapter 23. There's that second bell. I heard it. See, y'all be going, he didn't hear the bell. I heard it. 19, 20 through 21. Listen, my son, and be wise, and keep your heart on the right path. Do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat, for drunkards and gluttons become poor, and drowsiness clothes them in rags. Okay? Now, I'm not sitting here, that's a whole nother class talking about alcohol. But it puts too much alcohol and even too much eating. I'm sucking in my gut right now. I don't want to be a glutton. Oh. Man, where are we choosing our friends? And chapter 24, 1 and 2. Do not envy wicked men. Do not desire their company, for their hearts plot violence, and their lips talk about making trouble. Thinking about the New Testament teachings of Jesus, thinking about the teachings of Solomon, what do they say about true friendships? Try your hardest to have that true friend be a person of God. And then you influence your acquaintances, those outlying friends, those that I have association with, and I'm friends with them, but not that tight Jonathan David friendship. Work on them to become in spirit with you. In spirit with you. Do you and your friends want to glorify God in every ounce of your being? And I'm asking myself the same question. And that's our lesson on friendships. And I hope you liked it. We got 3 more weeks in this study in Proverbs. Thank y'all so much for being here this morning. And let's visit together now, and then we're going to worship God together and glorify Him as a big family. Thank you.